Have you ever wondered who taught the world how to think, not what to think, but how to think? Before classrooms, before universities, before the word philosopher became popular, there was one man who dared to question everything. His name was Socrates. Born in ancient Athens around 470 BC, Socrates wasn't rich. He wasn't handsome. And he never wrote a single book. Yet, more than 2,000 years later, his name is still remembered as the father of Western philosophy. But who was he really? Why did his questions shake the entire foundation of Athens? And how did a man armed with only his words become one of the most influential thinkers in human history? Let's dive into the fascinating life of Socrates, a man who changed the world just by asking questions. Socrates grew up during the golden age of Athens, a time when the city was powerful, rich, and proud of its democracy. But while everyone else was busy talking about glory, money, and politics, Socrates cared about something deeper: truth. He believed that most people only pretended to know things. He would walk through the streets, stop random citizens, politicians, poets, craftsmen, and start asking questions. Simple questions like, what is justice? What is beauty? What does it mean to be good? At first, people thought it was a game. But as his questions continued, they started to realize they didn't really know the answers. Socrates wasn't trying to embarrass anyone. He believed that real wisdom begins when you admit you know nothing. That's what made him different. While others claimed to have all the answers, Socrates claimed he had none, only the desire to seek the truth. This way of thinking became known as the Socratic method, asking deep questions to challenge assumptions and reveal truth through dialogue. It's the same method teachers, scientists, and lawyers still use today. He didn't just teach philosophy, he taught the art of thinking for yourself. But not everyone appreciated it. Many powerful people in Athens felt threatened by Socrates. His questions made them look foolish. His ideas encouraged the youth to challenge authority. And in a city that valued reputation and control, that was dangerous. Eventually, his enemies decided to silence him. In 399 BC, Socrates was put on trial. The charges? Corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods. He was 70 years old, an old man accused of crimes against the state, just for asking questions. During the trial, Socrates didn't beg for mercy. He didn't even try to defend himself the way others would. Instead, he told the truth, that he was only doing what the gods had sent him to do, to help people seek wisdom. He famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Those words still echo through time. They mean that life without reflection, without questioning who we are or what we stand for, is an empty life. But the jury didn't understand. They found him guilty and sentenced him to death by drinking a cup of poison hemlock. In his final moments, Socrates showed the world what true courage looks like. He could have escaped, his friends begged him to run away, but he refused. He believed it was wrong to break the laws of the city, even if the city was wrong about him. He calmly drank the poison, surrounded by his students. And as the poison slowly took effect, he spoke his last words with peace in his heart. Socrates died, but his ideas lived on. Among his students was Plato, who would later teach Aristotle, who then taught Alexander the Great. Through this chain of knowledge, Socrates' influence spread across the entire world. His questions shaped science, ethics, politics, and education for centuries to come. Today, when you question authority, when you seek truth instead of blindly following the crowd, you're carrying the spirit of Socrates. He proved that wisdom doesn't come from knowing everything, it comes from having the courage to ask. So, what can we learn from him today? In a world filled with noise, opinions, and endless information, we need Socrates more than ever. He reminds us to pause, to think deeply, and to ask, why do I believe this? Is this true? Am I living an examined life? Because real progress doesn't start with answers, it starts with questions. Even though he lived thousands of years ago, Socrates' message feels incredibly modern. He taught us that one voice, armed with reason and honesty, can challenge empires. He taught us that truth isn't something you're given, it's something you discover. And he taught us that the most powerful tool in the world isn't wealth or weapons, it's wisdom. So the next time someone tells you to just accept things the way they are, remember the old man from Athens, who walked barefoot through the streets, asking questions no one dared to ask. He was mocked, hated, and eventually killed for it. But because of him, humanity learned to think, to reason, and to seek truth. That's the legacy of Socrates. The man who changed the world. Not by giving answers, but by asking the right questions.